All right, so working on our log frame porch here, and one of the things that the early pioneers and really homesteaders, farmers, and people that have lived in the country for centuries have done is when they didn't have a tool for something, if possible, they made it. And that's what we're doing here. You can see right here, I've got a piece of maple that I cut last year. And one of the things I'm going to need is a mallet. Actually, I'm going to need a couple of them, a two-handed mallet and a one-handed mallet. So this is going to be the start of my one-handed mallet here, and I'll show you how to do that. I've already started right here. We're going to come up a certain distance. We figure out how tall we want the mallet head to be. And it's always better to go a little bit longer, right? And in fact, this whole piece is probably a little bit longer because you can cut off, right? You can't add on. So we can cut, the ends to whichever length we want once we've got this kind of into shape and see how it balances. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start basically girdling this, cut a groove. Back up, pup. We're going to cut a groove all the way around this. And we're going to do this until we've got a groove that's, I don't know, good, at least an inch or two deep all the way around to where we've got kind of a shelf here. This will be the head of the mallet and this part will be the handle, and we're kind of making that delineation right here. So I'm going to work on that, and then I'll show you, the next step in the process. All right, so I'm going to show you the next step in the process of making this mallet. We've got our notch cut here that is going to basically delineate our mallet head from the handle. So now what we're going to do is we're going to split off the excess wood around the handle, get it down to roughly the size and shape that we want. And to do that, I'm just using an axe here and just a branch, since I don't have a mallet because I haven't made one yet. And we're just going to split. Ideally, you'd use a wedge for part of this too, which I don't have. Not a flat wedge. I've got one for splitting firewood that would blow this thing to pieces. So that's the idea. I'm probably going to have to take this over to my block over there to really be able to get down on this. Actually, let me try this other hatchet here because I don't have to worry about busting up the wood handle wherever I put it. I'll cut this part out. There we go. Let's try the hatchet here. This is this whole thing's metal here. I just didn't want to start beating on the handle or anything on the axe. This was felled last year. Probably still slightly green. So it's not going to split off easy. Ideal woods for this type of thing would probably be something more like oak or hickory. We just don't have oak or hickory on this property, and that's, you work with what you have available. Maple's the most prevalent hardwood that we have here, especially on this property. And I just happen to have a piece of maple. Let's split this off here, but we'll just split all the way around until we've taken off the majority of the material around the handle, and I'll show you the process of shaving down the handle, shaping it, getting it smooth. But this is the basic idea. We're just going to split around it until I'm happy with the size. The big thing is take it off in small pieces. With anything like this, when you're working with wood or anything like that, you can cut wood off, but you can't put it back. So, sometimes it's best to be a little conservative with your cuts. It might take you a little bit longer, but it'd take you even longer if you had to start all over because you ended up splitting it too far over. Anyway, we'll be back with the next step in this process. Alright, so the next thing, after we've got a lot of this split off, now the big thing is we want to try to keep this centered and balanced and kind of get this into a rough shape of what we want now. So I'm going to get out my draw knife and just start getting this slightly more round, a little more into the shape we want here. And my draw knife needs sharpened, it's a little dull, so draw knife is kind of good for this. You could continue to do this with a hatchet. It would just take a little bit more finessing of the hatchet. Can totally be done, but the draw knife is a much easier tool, a little more control over it. It allows you to sort of shape the log best. And what you want to do is not take off too much on one side, right? Well, you kind of got to want to see where it's centered from the center of the grain here, right? That's where we want to be at, is from the center of the grain. As I get down here, I'll sort of figure out the diameter I want here and actually draw a circle right back here around the center of the grain so that our handle is center going down and the whole thing's not going to be off balance when we work on it later. So we'll draw a circle right around here and then shave down to that. Right now, as we're still just kind of roughing it out, you know, take a little bit off one side and then turn it a little, just kind of keep rotating it, kind of getting it into round. I may do a little bit more work with a hatchet before I do more with the draw knife here, and I got to get my take this over to the block to finish splitting this piece here off. But you know, I hope you can start seeing the rough, you know, shape of the mallet here, whereas this is our mallet head and this is our handle. It'll be really good. And then of course this is probably going to be pretty big. We're probably going to cut this back a bit. It'll be a little bit heavy and unwieldy, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, I cut the log to, you know, a good length, to where I've got extra at the ends, so I can sort of cut off one end or the other to get the balance that I want. So that's probably it for tonight. It's getting late. We'll be back later and I'll keep showing you the rest of this mallet.
Make sure you stay tuned for part 2 of this project. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, check out our other videos, and join us on our other social media sites, such as Facebook and MeWe. Thanks.